Hi guys, Andy here. I've been using the LG G3 for about a week now as my main device, and I figured it was time I shared my thoughts on the G3 with you. The G3 is 2 or 3 months old now. It's LG's obviously their flagship model. Still retailing if you're buying it SIM-free up over 500. And it is often mentioned when people are talking about favourite phones, best devices out now, you know, best Android phone available. It definitely is mentioned. It's up there in the running with the S5, the HTC One M8, the OnePlus One, and all the rest of them. You know, it is right up there. So I was quite keen to have a play with it, and it's time for me to tell you what I think. Without further ado, let's crack on. So if we start with the design, I was quite surprised how light the device felt. At only 149 grams, that's a lot lighter than most phones with a screen this big, 5.5 inches, sorry. It is a little slick and a little slippy, so you have to be careful and make sure you've got a good grip of it all the time. One of the first things you're going to notice when you try and turn it on is the buttons on the back. Now, I thought, you know, it was very weird at first, very weird. And I thought I'd get used to it, and I would actually start to quite like it perhaps, but that's not really happened. I have got used to it. You know, in the hand like this, it feels fairly normal, but sometimes if you're using it, I don't grip, you know, a phone this big. So right now, if I try and press the back, it's just going to come out of my hand, look. And it's not normal to hold the front of the screen to then press the power. That seems quite odd. So a little bit weird. Also, because I actually have a bit of a problem with this fingertip. I think I've got nerve damage in my shoulder or something for the last almost year, and I get kind of pins and needles. I can't feel so well. So sometimes I'm trying to feel around and I can't really tell what I'm feeling. It's obvious when you're looking, there it is, but actually when you put it out and you're trying to, is that the volume, is that the power? A little weird. I actually quite like the curved back. Most of you that's watched my videos regularly will sort of be thinking, oh, Andy likes a nice flat back slab of phone style. And it does rock a little bit, but it does feel very good in the hand. It fits very nicely. It feels very comfortable. The hardware itself, as I mentioned, 5.5 inch screen, 2560 by 1440, 534 pixels per inch hidden behind the Gorilla Glass 3. Tap to wake, as you just saw, so you can actually tap the notification bar to turn it off. And initially I was using that all the time because I was just being annoyed by the power, but I kind of almost forced myself to try and use that more. True HD IPS LCD screen, Snapdragon 801 chipset with a Crate 400 running at 2.5 GHz with the now standard Adreno 330 GPU. The 16GB version, this one, comes with 2GB of RAM. The 32GB version comes with 3GB of RAM. I wasn't aware that the RAM changed with the actual internal storage. It does have a very good speaker. Let's give you a quick blast. Probably the best thing is a podcast.
Second Monday night football game where they
There's the
scored
volume right the way
just
up.
a minute and a half left and taking a 1-point lead. So that did me in the challenge game. The fans are up.
It's nice and loud, clear. There's not many devices that mean I don't miss my Note 3 when I'm reviewing them because of the speaker. But this one, actually, I didn't miss my Note 3. I was quite happy.
It's 1 o'clock and the party's just beginning.
Yeah, that's a pretty loud speaker, really. It's got infrared built in, and if I can find it, there's a remote control app as well. Quick remote, which is actually very quick to set up. At work the other day, radio was on, I basically tapped audio, searched for Technics, hit it, it said press this, did it work? No. Press this, did it work? Yes. And I was off, and I was changing the volume and all sorts from my seat in the dining room. So kind of handy if you like or need that sort of thing. The camera is a 13 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization. The front facing camera is 2.1 megapixels, and it has quite a natty some features for selfie taking, basically. I've plunged my room into darkness to demonstrate the selfie features. You'll understand why in a second. I'm going to switch the camera by swiping across the screen to the front facing camera. I'm then going to turn the flash on, which just puts a big bright border around. I can still see what I'm taking a picture of, but it puts a big bright border there for lighting my face up. And then, I don't know if you can see, it's recognised my hand. Starts the countdown, and there's my selfie. Pretty cool. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's show you how quickly it can focus and take a picture. Now that's fast. I'm not sure I would, just from doing that, would I have to compare it to something else to actually realise that it's quicker? I think I probably would. I don't know, I've never really thought when I'm taking pictures that I'm hanging around waiting. But it is fast to focus, there's no doubt, using the infrared laser on the back. There's some pretty good detail in the video. It will shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second. If we move on to the software, just look at the lock options, you'll notice knock code. Remember, set again to confirm. No. So this is now when you turn the phone on and off. Don't know if I can do it from, can I do it from off? Yeah. Just to show you, if I just do a normal, it's going to say you're locked. So I quite like that. You can do it from a blank screen, put in your special knock code, and you straight away unlock. Let's just change that back to none. What else have we got? Home screen. I quite like, so you can change the different types, and you get, as you do it, you get an example. So I like that, that's quite clever. I've not seen that before, even in the custom launchers, and they should do really. It's clever. What else? Home. Now this I really like. Button combination, and effectively we can change what buttons are on the bottom. So if I wanted the dual window, for example, and there it is already. Oof, straight away. Now what does confuse me a bit, there's only these options. Why would you not put a menu in there? I don't get it. Okay, you've got it as a shortcut, I think it's that one. Hold that down, you get a menu comes up. But why not just give us the option to drop it in? It baffles me. Who would think, yeah, let's let them change what's down the bottom, but let's not give a menu, which is an option on most phones. Or by default on most phones. Why would you not make that an option? So, superb that let you do this, brilliant. But why not just put a menu in there? You can have the buttons hide on certain apps. It's kind of handy. Automatically it is on some of them, like YouTube and things, but you can set it up so VLC player, for example, the buttons fade away and obviously you tap or swipe in or something there and then they reappear. So that's quite clever. So I like some of the customizability that you get within the software, but a couple of weird frustrations. Smart cards. Ooh, there we go. Smart cards are going to appear just up here. It's all smart notice. Can't say they've been particularly useful. They've not come up telling me something that's made me go, oh, that's quite clever. Oh, I didn't realise that. I suppose it pops with things. Oh, do you realise it's so and so's birthday shortly? Yeah, it's quite clever, but I don't know why you'd do them there. You could just do notifications if you really wanted to do that. We then get LG Health. I only filled in, I think, last night. So I've not done many steps at all. I'm not massively into the health apps like this. I've got my phone to track my steps if I'm that bothered. We do get a lot of sort of smart tips or videos. You get things like gas mode. Gas mode sounds quite clever. You can set certain apps to be available. So if you can lend your phone to somebody, you can just say, right, gas mode, and then they're restricted to an extent of what they can do. There's a variety of videos. We won't play that one. There is a variety of videos, there we go, sorry, that give you that show you what the phone is capable of, what they can do. They take a little while to load at this point. So this one, for example, also requires a case. Anyway, that'll do. So you get videos on kind of how to use dual window, how to use the camera, not code, smart notice, gas mode, the display. So there's a lot of, tells you how to use the keyboard a bit better, which brings me to the keyboard. What's going to be the easiest way? So I've jumped into my Twitter client just to show you the keyboard. It's fine for sort of typing. Oopsie, it would be if I could type properly. Typing away. It has a swipe mode. That's not on by default. Neither is autocorrection. Just be aware of that. You're typing away and you hit space expecting it to pop to the suggestion, and it doesn't. Now, one thing I find very annoying, comma is one of the most commonly used bits of punctuation, surely, and it's not there. I've got a settings button instead. I've looked through the settings. I can't see a way to turn on commas instead of the settings button. Maybe I'm wrong, someone tell me if I am. I like that you can do things like you can change the height. It says layout, but that's only like to make it a... You can change the theme. Oh, hang on. Symbol, I don't want a symbol key, I want an actual comma. Maybe I'm supposed to be able to do it here. I'm a little confused, to be honest. Does it ask me then what? There we go. Oh, do you know what? I found it. Goodness gracious. I've been using this for a week and it's been annoyed me the whole time along. But I was determined to use this keyboard, not install something else. And now that I find it. Fine, so you can do it. I'll give them credit back to that then. I also quite like things like you hold on the space bar and you can move the cursor key back and forth. That's quite clever. Seems a good idea that I wouldn't be surprised if other keyboards like SwiftKey take up pretty quick. So actually now I've found that comma, I've got a different view on the keyboard. It's not as bad then, as that would just drive me nuts. You have to hold it down. It's still a bit slow for things like question marks and stuff, but it's not too bad. Comma is the main one, and that's fixed. So we're fine. We can move on. I can sleep soundly tonight knowing there's a comma on my keyboard. Dual window I quite like. Obviously Samsung do that as well, but I can put Chrome into the top half. Come on. And YouTube into the bottom half, I think. Yeah, so Chrome up here, YouTube down here. You can change the size. Again, it's not massively new. Samsung, I believe, were the first people to do this, but I do quite like it. It's easily accessed and quite handy. If I can then get rid of it, there we go. One thing I have a bit of a problem with is the performance. Now, I'm probably not going to be able to get it to do it now. Well, there's a little bit of jitter in there. Oh, hello. There we go. Do you see that? Oh dear. See, that was quite bad. That happens too often for my liking. It's a top-end phone with top-end specs. How on earth have they managed to make it that jittery? I have seen other people comment on, "Oh, is it still as laggy as hell?" sort of thing. You know, so it's obviously not just my device. I've done some head-to-head matchups. You might have seen the videos already. This lost to the Nexus 5. Now the Nexus 5 is almost a year old. You know, it's a £300 device, so it's kind of almost mid-range, maybe mid to top. But the Nexus 5 pretty much battered it, really. It also seems sometimes a little bright in adjusting the auto brightness, especially when you turn the screen on in bright areas. It seems to take, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds before it realises, oh, it's quite bright, and pumps the screen brightness up. So little bits like that disappoint me, if I'm honest. It should be able to do better. What didn't disappoint me is the battery. So it's a 3000 milliamp hour removable battery, as you would have seen if you watched my unboxing. There it is. Just while we're here, look, micro SD and micro SIM both slide in fairly standard points there. Speaker at the bottom, look. Yeah, so 3000 milliamp hour battery, which performs, I believe, very well. So, you know, I usually judge if I've had a day at work, what percentage have I got when I finish work or at the end of the day, and quite often when I finish work I'm still on about 70%. I'm not a heavy user, I just get used now and then. I don't sit watching a lot of videos or playing games, but it seems to be well optimized. I wonder if that's linked to the poor performance though, if they put a governor in that means it doesn't really kick through the power that you would want it to. I'm not sure. But it does, you won't have any issues battery-wise, I don't believe, with the LG G3. So to summarise, I do like the device. I'm a little torn because I like the look, I like the feel. It's well made, it's pretty good, does feel premium, like a premium device. It looks stylish. It's got a decent camera, it's up there with the best cameras, I would say. It's got a good speaker, which is quite a rarity these days in phones. It's important to me, not to many people, probably, but it is important to me. There's some nice added features. The selfie features, I think they're built into some of the others like Samsung and stuff, but yeah, they get a thumbs up. It's just a big shame that there is, every now and then, but it does lag up and seems a bit slow, and you've seen the benchmark, well, you probably haven't seen the benchmark scores. Look at the benchmark scores. In my comparisons, the G3 versus other phones, it doesn't do very well. And this power button and the volume, you do get used to it, but to me it's still a bit more awkward. It's still a bit harder. When your volume's on the side, it's quite natural to hold the device on the edges, therefore pressing works. But it's not natural to have a hand on one finger on the thumb on the front and a finger on the back to turn it on or off. I don't quite understand why they thought that was a good idea. So, as I say, I'm really quite torn. I do like it, but those few small niggly things would mean I'd probably move on and look for a different device. But that's just me. Let me know what you think. My name's Andy. Catch you all again soon.